Marty et moi sommes ravis que vous soyez ici avec nous à Gascony. Et nous espérons que vous passez un agréable moment. Wow. Okay. As there is only one day in my life I can say this. As father of the groom, on behalf of my wife Marty and I have the nicest privilege here today to welcome our son Connor's love of his life, his beautiful bride Marjana, into the Mescal family. So today, while Connor has gained a wife, a father-in-law, a mother-in-law, a sister-in-law, and a brother-in-law, Marty and I are thrilled to have gained a daughter-in-law. Cade Mila Falcha, 100,000 welcomes Marjana. I am a great believer in celebrating the good days in our lives. And today is more than a good day. It's a great day, especially for Marty and I. It is wonderful to be here to share with you all the joy of seeing our son Connor so happy in his choice of Marjana as his life partner. As we have only one son, Connor, this day is a unique day in our lives. We feel immensely grateful to you all, our family and our friends, for going to the expense in both your time and money to be here with us in Castelnau de Fiumicon to celebrate this day. Thank you very much indeed. Marty and I would like to thank my sister Miriam, her husband Joe, and their daughter Neve for making the journey from Mississauga, Canada, to be with us on this special occasion. Amazingly, Connor has 3 first cousins who are expecting their first babies at this time. Connor's first cousin, Rory, and his wife, Ange, were unable to travel from Canada as their first child, a boy, Shay Joseph, was born less than 2 weeks ago. Congratulations, Rory and Ange. Connor's first cousin, Aoife, and her partner, Barry, in London, brought a baby girl, Phoebe Ella, into this world a few weeks ago. Congratulations, Aoife and Barry. And Connor's other first cousin, Stuart, who is here with us this weekend, and his wife, Claire, who is unable to travel from Dublin, are expecting their firstborn in July. So we wish them the very best in these exciting times. I know many of you have traveled great distances to be with us today, and we really appreciate you being with us for this wonderful occasion. Thank you very much indeed. Firstly, may I talk for a few moments about Marjana. By the way, since day one, we have known her in the more familiar term as Maz. When we first met Maz, we immediately fell in love with her, as we know Conor did. I think what first attracted us to Maz was her conspicuous love of Conor, and indeed Conor's conspicuous love for Maz, which has continued to this day. Marjana, you bring out the best in Conor, and you make him so happy. And Marty and I are delighted that you and Conor are so happy together. I consider it is really wonderful to see your son's love for his partner being reciprocated unconditionally. I would like to congratulate Marjana's parents, Jan and Bernadette, for raising such a wonderful daughter. Marjana is truly a great credit to you both. I think all that a parent can hope for is for their child to find a partner that enhances their life through true love. And we believe Conor and Marjana have achieved that, as evident through their commitment to each other here today, and in the beautiful ceremony conducted by Father Rodrigo Marino. A special thank you to Father Marino, who has contributed in no small way to making this day so special for us. Forgive me, please, as perhaps I'm feeling a little nostalgic today, because Marty and I are privileged to be present to celebrate our son's wedding. Unfortunately, my dad, Michael, was not alive to be present when Marty and I wed nearly 43 years ago. But thankfully, my mum, Maura, and Marty's mum and dad, Jim and Rosemary, were, as they were indeed, to celebrate the arrival of their first grandchild, Conor. Neither is my late brother Kieran here to see his first godson wed. So I ask you, please, to join with us in remembering absent friends. Thank you. Marjana, thank you for being such a wonderful partner for Conor. Marty and I have witnessed your love for each other grow during the more than 10 years you have known each other. That's better. Yes, it's more than 10 years this pair have been together. They don't rush into things, you know. It seems they are slow to make the big decisions. But by way of example, when they went to buy a new car, they decided they would rent a different car every weekend for a couple of months to see which one they liked best. A few months later, after trying numerous models, they decided on their current car, a Volkswagen Golf with lots of extras. I remember saying to Connor that you're not going to have that luxury when choosing a life partner. Yet alone when choosing a house. Anyway, well, he chose Maz instantly, and they chose a house together over a single weekend. So surely it proves that love conquers all. So, as I have had a little more than 10 years to prepare my father of the groom speech, I'm sure you'll forgive me if I don't deliver to your high expectations. Sometime after meeting Maz, we were delighted to meet Marjana's mother, Bernadette, and her husband, Christoph, whom we have gotten to know very well over recent years. Indeed, we have met them at rugby matches in Cardiff and Paris, and both of them have been to our home in Castleknock and Leenane. And we have developed a close and fun relationship with them. We were delighted to meet Marjana's dad, Jan, and his partner, Sophie, in Brussels, and we have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know them. But I digress, because I want to talk more about Marjana. Maz, you are all Marty and I would wish for in a daughter-in-law. We are so delighted you have chosen Connor and that he has chosen you. Despite the seas separating Brussels from Dublin, we have been lucky enough to have spent a very considerable time together over the past 10 years. On numerous occasions, we have stayed with you in Belgium and you have stayed with us in Ireland. And we have even met together on a number of occasions halfway at rugby matches in Wales and France. We have thoroughly enjoyed building our relationship together, and we congratulate you on your business achievements. Apart from the growth in your love of Connor, we have also experienced the growth of your love for Ireland. And perhaps that is best evidenced by your choosing of the Irish not-for-profit charity, Women for Election in Ireland, which promotes the advancement of women in politics in Ireland as your preferred cause in the dedication of your marriage. By the way, did you know that Maz's gorgeous wedding dress was designed by an Irish designer and bought in Ireland, despite Marjana being from France, her home country, famous for its haute couture? Well done, Maz. You look absolutely fabulous in it. Maz, suffice it to say that our love of you is parallel to our love of Connor, which brings me neatly to talk about Connor. What can I say? He's a chip off his old man's block. Sorry, Marty. I know that's not true because most of his good traits come from his mother. Marty and I are both blessed to have enjoyed a wonderful relationship with Connor, which continues to this day. I vividly remember a day some 30 years ago or more, when I said to both Conor and Marty, when commenting on our family relationship, "This is as good as it gets," I said. We usually think that tomorrow will be better than today, whereas I suggest we should enjoy today because we never know what tomorrow will bring. Carpe diem, seize the day, is my motto. While many Irish parents have sons and daughters living in far-flung places like Australia, we are lucky to have Conor and Maz only a 90-minute flight away from Dublin in Brussels, so we see them regularly. And we are both very lucky to continue to enjoy a great and very special relationship with Conor. And indeed, every year, I am still lucky enough to have a father and son trip with Conor, and Marty has a mother and son time with him also. And obviously, we also enjoy many other quality times together as a family. The lights. I get the message. But I'm going to ignore it. Like all parents, we delight in seeing our offspring develop and prosper. Despite being an only child, Conor has always had an outgoing, positive, caring personality. I must say here that Marty and I wish to thank Patsy Matthews and her family for their invaluable contribution to Conor's early development. As Patsy minded Conor from 3 months of age to when he started in Castleknock College. And we are delighted that Patsy, still to this day known by Conor as Auntie Pat, is here with us with her daughter Linda to celebrate this very special day with us. Thank you, Patsy and family. Conor has always had the wonderful ability to choose his friends wisely, and that is evident here by the presence here today of such great long-term friends, some of which have known Conor since his days in kindergarten. We are also very happy to meet his new friends that he has made since moving to Belgium. So great to see you all here. Thanks for joining us. We are very comfortable in the knowledge that Conor equally chose wisely when he chose Maz as his lifelong friend and partner. After spending 6 happy years in Castleknock College, where Conor developed his love of rugby and made some wonderful lifelong friends, he took his primary degree in international business with French and Spanish in DIT in Kevin Street. Then he did his master's in University College Dublin in European Economic and Public Affairs. I very well remember him while attending a course in Louvain and in Brussels, sending us a postcard photo of the Parlement building in Brussels, which is the headquarter building of the European Commission in Brussels, saying that this is where he wanted to be when he grew up. As a father, I will never forget the evening he flew out of Dublin to Brussels with no job, nowhere to stay, knowing no one, in search of a new life and his dream in a foreign land. While I know we reared him to explore the world, we nonetheless were devastated that it was time for him to fly the nest. I will always salute Conor for his ambition and determination, as I know I would never have had the courage to up sticks and do what he did. He started off in Brussels by sleeping on somebody's couch, then renting an empty room. It didn't even have a bed, so he had to go to IKEA to get one. Yeah. After a while, he upgraded to sharing an apartment. I think it was quite a lonely existence, especially in comparison to the full social and comfortable life he lived in Dublin. I distinctly remember being concerned for him and suggesting he should try and find a girlfriend. Thankfully, he took the good advice of his old man. And a few weeks later, while walking down a street in Brussels, he fortuitously bumped into a former rugby opponent from Dublin who invited him to Paris for the weekend for the rugby match between Ireland and Wales. Among the three others in the car en route to Paris was Marjana. And the rest, as they say, is history, the result of which we are here today to celebrate. In fact, while they were in Paris, they were staying in Maz's dad's house, Jan's house in Paris. Perhaps the other happy ending to the story is that Conor ended up currently as a senior manager with the European food and drink industry, lobbying the European Commission in the Barlimont building in Brussels. So he has more than achieved his ambition. Very well done, Conor. We are so proud of you. As you all know, Conor and Maz have set up home in Brussels, the heart of Europe. They now have a beautiful home and have done a wonderful job in refurbishing it to their liking. Incidentally, their new home is only a couple of meters from the first place Conor lived 10 years earlier. We know Conor and Marjana are more than delighted that you have all joined with them here in Gascony to celebrate their wedding day. And I know they want you to enjoy the weekend of celebrations. They have taken very considerable care to build the celebrations around your enjoyment. And I hope you all thoroughly enjoy your time here in Castelnau de Firmacon. Beg alon ceol agus crack again. I can assure Conor and Maz that you can both rest easy in the knowledge your special wedding day is a great success. Okay, that's enough from me, so it's time I passed you to the next speaker.
Good evening. I'm totally incapable of going as long as my predecessor. I'm not into long speeches, and I know that you're dying to get into your drink and everything else. I come from Chateau Thierry, which is in Champagne, and the champagne that you are looking at and drinking is from my dear friend Philippe Mallet, who has supplied the stuff for tonight. And so I don't want to keep you from drinking it, and so I'm going to make my stuff as short as possible. I know that, anyway, you've come here just for the food, and you've come here, of course, for the wonders of the south of France, and that's all the best that you can possibly get. And I've been told I have to say the whole thing in French, so I'll go back again and start again. Donc, je vous je suis incapable de parler autant de temps que mon prédécesseur. Je suis de Château Thierry, là où il y a le champagne, que vous allez boire ce soir. Et je sais que vous n'êtes pas venu que pour la nourriture. So you haven't just come for food. You've also come for, of course, a bucolic weekend in this wonderful little village with fantastic... We now got sun, so we've got the sun out there. A beautiful place. But however, I would like to welcome you here, at least, to say that basically, thanks for coming. It's a long way. You've all come from a long way, come down to a nice place in the south of France, and given up your time to come to this wonderful place. But I suppose I ought to also say that thanks for coming to celebrate the wedding of my daughter with Conrad, which I... Donc je sais que vous n'êtes pas venu ici uniquement pour la nourriture, mais également quand même pour une week-end bucolique ici dans un joli village. Mais je vous accueille surtout pour être là pour le mariage de ma fille avec Conrad. Alors, when I was told I had to give a speech, I hate these things, I went straight away, of course, to Quant and Mozilla. I hate Google. So I discovered two problems, very big problems. They first of all, they said, I have to give away a wonderful child. That's two things. Give away, I can't give away. She left. She disappeared at the age of 18, and I never saw her again. I mean, she came back occasionally, but that was it, you know. So she took off at 18 and made her own life. So I can't give her away. I mean, there's nothing to give away. The second thing is a wonderful child. I mean, this is a problem too, because a wonderful child is, I mean, I've got three. Now, if I say she's a wonderful child, well, the others are not. No. So, I've got one wonderful child who's off. So it's one wonderful child. So basically, the conclusion is that one wonderful child is gone, and okay, and I'm happy. Okay. Donc, essentiellement, lorsqu'il a fallu que je fasse un discours, je suis allé sur Quant et Mozilla, surtout pas Google, et j'ai découvert qu'il y a deux problèmes. On est censé dire que je donne une fille qui est formidable. Mais je peux pas le donner parce que d'abord, elle est partie à 18 ans et elle s'est barrée. Deuxièmement, forcément dire qu'elle est formidable, mais je ne peux pas parce que j'ai 3 enfants qui sont formidables et donc forcément une fille formidable ou un enfant formidable est parti. Ok. La conclusion, je suis heureux. Alors, I've discovered that I'm supposed to say I cite somebody, a quotation or whatever. So I will give a quotation. Now, first, before I go into the quotation, I must say I'm very sorry that I gave the name of Magena to my daughter, who had to wear a T-shirt to actually explain the phonetics of how to pronounce her name when she was a young child. Because nobody could pronounce Magena. And it often ended up with all sorts of things, but I won't go into it. But anyway, so the quote is, and this is my feeling, what is happiness? Happiness is complicated, you know? And so the guy I'd like to pronounce is J.B. Priestley, one of these authors that nobody reads anymore, but I like very much. And he said something very interesting. He said, to show a child what once delighted you, to find the child's delight added to your own, this is happiness. Et donc, à part le fait que je dois m'excuser d'avoir donné un nom comme Magena à ma fille, qui l'a obligée de porter un t-shirt avec le phonétique sur son dos en disant Magena, et donc j'arrive au moment où je suis obligé forcément de citer quelqu'un. Et donc je cite un auteur que j'aime bien, Priestley, qui a dit « Montrer à un enfant ce qui te fait plaisir et découvrir que cet enfant a autant de plaisir que ce que tu as eu, ça, c'est le bonheur. » Voilà. So, now, of course, it takes two to tango. So we got two of them. I've got my daughter and then we got somebody else. I haven't said you yet. Wait a minute. I'll get there. Out of the blue, I got a phone call. And this young man said, no, I had known him. And he said, could I have the hand of your daughter in marriage? And I thought, well, first of all, my first idea was I'm back in a film, you know, looking at something which happens in about a century ago. And then, of course, I didn't want to vex the young man, so I said yes. And then I realized that basically I was saying yes, okay, and I was giving my hand to a young man. Basically, the daughter was going over to the young man, and I thought she couldn't have had anybody better. It was the most fantastic thing. You can't have done better than that, Magena. Alors, donc j'ai un jour, il faut deux pour jouer au tango, et donc un jour, je reçois un coup de fil d'un jeune homme qui me demande s'il peut avoir la main de ma fille pour l'épouser. Bon, je n'ai pas voulu le vexer, donc j'ai dit oui, et je pense qu'il n'a pas pu trouver mieux, elle n'a pas pu trouver mieux, c'est pas possible, et donc, je suis très content qu'ils soient ensemble. So, we've got two families, because you pick up two families in the thing. I already had a talk with my ex-wife, but we're both happy to receive you into our family. So you get two for the price of one. All right? Now, I did a bit of calculation. When I suddenly realized that two for the price of one, I sat back and I said, hang on, this is going to be complicated, because what does this mean? Right? So I did my maths. I'm a professor of maths and biology. So I worked out and I said, well, hang on, this is going to be, now, let's take that normally we have a life expectancy of quite a long time. Today it's growing. So we can live longer and longer and longer. So by the time you get round to your diamond wedding, right, 60 years for those who don't know, you've got 440 Christmas presents to buy. Connor. You've got 180 dutiful visits to make to Nantes, Gondeleu, Rome, Ashford. Mind you, for Ashford, you're going to need a visa, probably very soon. And you've got about 220 birthdays to remember. That's coming into 2 new families. Donc, lorsque j'avais dit oui à ce gentil jeune homme, j'ai fait les calculs et j'ai découvert qu'effectivement, il fallait qu'il puisse assumer 440 cadeaux de Noël, 180 visites annuelles dans la famille, parce que maintenant, il y a 2 familles, et dans les 220 anniversaires, à trouver une solution. Parce que donc l'espérance de vie nous mène à cela. But then, Connor, as I welcome into your own family, you tied the knot, now you eat your cake, right? So as that mix up 2 things. But anyway. Now, not so long ago we were in Brussels, and it was the rehearsal for today. And we went through the whole wedding ceremony, officially, and it was very nice. And I met Marty and Declan for the first time. And so I'm extremely happy to invite those 2 also into our family. Trust yourselves. Donc il y a quelques semaines, nous étions à Bruxelles dans la répétition de cette soirée ici, et j'ai pu avoir donc le plaisir de rencontrer Marty et Declan, et je les invite aussi dans notre famille. And then I discovered, of course, that once you get Marty and Declan, you get half of Ireland as well. So I'm extremely pleased to welcome also the Irish contingent. Now, it's quite fascinating because, yes, you mentioned rugby. I was going to say rugby. And, yeah, but rugby, it's funny enough, 10 years ago, the 2 of them in a group turned up in my house in Paris for a game of rugby. Now, you can guess from what's coming that I did not go to rugby school, I went to a football school. So, obviously, rugby, for me, is weird. I'm more football, and cricket especially. But anyway, so it's... They turned up in Paris just to see a rugby match. And since then, I've seen textos and all sorts of things on my phone saying that they're now in such a place. Basically, they've been spending the last 10 years running around Europe chasing after a flattened football. And so what I'd like to say tonight is, and I'd like to invite you all to join in this, and I won't go on for long and long and long, is to say that, right, you've got to take your glasses, drink a toast, and hope that they continue for many, many years chasing flattened footballs around Europe.
Hi guys, I'm going to take you through some messages from people who can't be here today, so let's listen up. So Niall, who played with Connor, he has a message and he's asked it to be read out. Hi Connor, wishing you all the best in the future and in your new marriage. Enjoy the day. Jamie, the kids, and even the dogs would have loved to have been here today, but unfortunately, they weren't invited. Made that up. Here's an actual reader one. To Maz and Connor, we hope you have a brilliant day. We'll both be gutted that we can't be with you. Instead, we're making bottles, changing nappies. Best of wishes from Hugo, Sandy, Willow, and all the greater community of Duleek. So, I'm going to try this. Bonjour à toutes et tous. Je m'appelle Simon Crawford. Je viens en Dublin, en Irlande. Et je suis le meilleur ami de Connor. quand nous nous sommes rencontrés à l'école il y a 20 ans, Connor était beaucoup plus grand et costaud que moi. Et maintenant, c'est moi, je suis le plus grand et le plus costaud. C'est incroyable. Depuis que nous nous connaissons, nous avons partagé beaucoup d'expériences ensemble. Que ce soit durant de nombreux voyages à Amérique, Germany, England, Mexico, ou durant nos nombreux week-ends fantastiques à Bruxelles. Don't worry, it'll be over soon. Je me rappelle encore tout voyage, et particulièrement quand nous sommes à la Rouville, dans le nord-est de France, à Côte de Metz. Nous avons 6 ans les copes. Nous sommes partis 6 semaines, et c'était pour chacun notre première fois en France. Nous avons bu beaucoup de bière et n'avons pas appris beaucoup de français. Aujourd'hui, je suis ravi d'être retourné ici en France pour le mariage de mon ami Connor. Merci et maintenant je vais continuer en anglais. Bonsoir. Hopefully you can all understand that. But my Spanish is a bit rusty. Okay. I think the only French that Connor and I learned in school was French kissing, which is strange considering that we went to an all-boys school. So in preparation for today's speech, I was told to try not to be articulate, intelligent, or funny, to just be myself. For people who couldn't understand my double Dutch earlier, my name is Simon Crawford, and I've been Connor's friend for 24 years now. I'll never forget the first time I met Connor. He was strutting across the car park in our school. He was with his dad, Declan, or as we know him, Dec, also known as Dec, the legend. They were both tall, muscly, handsome, and seriously cool. At least Dec hasn't changed a bit. So, me being a spud chucker from Meath thought I have to become mates with these lads, and I did. I know you'll find, I know you'll find this hard to believe, but during school, Connor was actually bigger and stronger than me. He was an absolute beast. Now I can only say, when looking at Connor, that I've seen more meat on a butcher's pencil than he has on him now. When getting the fantastic suits for today, I had to get the biggest suit that was available, and also had to get the saddle in my trousers reinforced. Connor, I think, had to buy his suit in Baby Gap. So now, I'd like to take you through Connor's long and illustrious sporting career. You wouldn't think it by looking at Connor's measly carcass now, but he was a top-class sportsman. Brilliant at rugby and athletics, but particularly he excelled at the 100-metre sprint. He was a powerhouse when we were around 13 or 14 and couldn't be beaten at sprinting at all. He had arms the size of legs and legs like tree trunks, an absolute horse of a man. The Connor before you now is a cool, calm, sophisticated, Ryan Tuberty-like character. but he used to have where am I? Hold on a sec. But he used to have he used to have an abrasive side and a short fuse at times. This was most prevalent at the Leinster under 16 100-metre sprint final. Connor's dominance at the time had started to dwindle, and he was coming under a bit of pressure as top sprinter in Leinster. Connor didn't take too well when one of his arch rivals, Philly Caldwell, had to share a lane in that race, right? So Connor decided to turn. Hold on a second, now we get it right. Philly Caldwell. So Connor decided to turn sprinting into a physical sport. As his rival Philly for the first time started to pull away, Connor thought to himself, if I'm not winning this, then neither is he. And for the first time in a 100-metre sprint, an athlete slide tackled a competitor and took him to the deck. This is genuinely a true story. As you can imagine, this wasn't well received by the umpires and the race or the teachers that were present. His competitors were delighted to hear that he decided to focus attentions exclusively to rugby, where he played in all the top teams and represented our school in the Junior and Senior Cup, while going on to play with Lansdowne after school. Connor's genuinely a very talented sportsman and should have been recognised at a higher level. Connor and I had a lot in common in school. We were both well developed physically in our earlier years. As I said, Connor was a sprinter, fit for purpose, a strong, explosive build, ideal for powering out of the blocks. I was tall, athletic, and a good fit for both GAA and rugby. Now Connor wouldn't power his way out of a wet paper bag. And there definitely wouldn't be a GAA jersey big enough that would fit me. It's a fact. Okay. Now, I wouldn't be doing Connor's best man speech any justice without talking about his unusual tastes and eating habits. When we were in school, Connor every time would have none other than, for lunch, would have none other than toasted pate sandwiches. This might seem normal to a sophisticated Parisian or a European diplomat in Brussels, but for us spud pickers in Ireland, this is very strange. I think this really showed that Connor was way ahead of his times as an international trendsetter and was further evidence that he was his own independent person. The only other thing you should notice that is he is as slow as erosion when it comes to eating his food. I don't think Connor just finished his wedding meal there. I think he finished his breakfast. It's very stupid, isn't it? Okay, so Marty and Dec. Connor has some of the nicest parents that any son could wish for, Marty and Dec. Guys, you're always very good to me when we were growing up. And we're always so generous and hospitable. Marty, I'll never forget your world-class chicken and broccoli bake. Fantastic. We've shared a lot of great nights out together, and you've let me stay in your house for more nights than I can remember, and for more after parties than you actually know of. I think everyone agree here that you're fantastic people and great company. Actually, Dec, after a few pints, has often referred to me as the good-looking son that he never had. Joking aside, Marty and Dec, you've reared a fantastic son, and he's an absolute credit to you. Well done. Now, Conor and Maz's similarities. I think it's important to talk about Conor and Maz, the newly married couple, Mr. and Mrs. Meskel. They really complement each other and have a lot of shared interests. So I've highlighted 4 key similarities that I think shows how well suited they are. This doesn't get any better. So, 1, they're both very intelligent. Maz, very smart, focused, has real tunnel vision to succeed in whatever she does, and has fantastic drive. Conor, at the age of 26, learned how to drive. Okay. So, Number 2 similarities. They both have a love for cooking. Maz has cooked us some gorgeous meals, and because of her French heritage, she has a fantastic appreciation for cooking and wines. Connor, when living at home once, had 9 slices of toast for dinner because Marty and Dec were away on holidays. And Maz informed me most recently that he very recently burnt a salad. So, okay, number 3 similarities. They both have a love for books. Connor and Maz love reading books. Maz could go through a book per week and potentially more while on holidays. She's very well read, and her favourite book is The Secret, which is quite apt considering their relationship. Connor's choice of books has developed a lot recently, and his favourite book is Facebook. There's one more. So number 4, they both have a love for travelling. Maz is very well travelled and has lived in many different countries. Father from UK, mother from France, now lives in Brussels, a real European citizen. Connor is also well travelled, but when Maz suggested getting married in Toulouse, Connor responded saying, "Yeah, I'd love to get married in Italy." You're glad to know that's the end of the rubbish. So Maz. So Maz, I've got to know you extremely well over the last 10 years now at this stage, and I'm glad to call you my friend. We've enjoyed some great nights out, and I'm sure there'll be many more. There's no doubt in my mind that you and Connor are made for each other. You'll both have a fun-filled, happy life together. I'm sure I speak for everyone in this room that you look absolutely gorgeous today. I don't think anyone expected anything less. Connor, you're a funny, friendly, and most of all, a very genuine guy, which is a fantastic trait in a friend. We've stayed very good friends no matter where you've travelled to, and we've managed to catch up regardless of what you were doing. I really love visiting you and Maz in Brussels in your magnificent new home. To do what you've done in life wasn't easy, and I really do admire you for that. We've been best friends for over 2 decades now, and I look forward to laughs over the next 2. I'm incredibly honoured here to stand up here beside you today as you marry the woman of your dreams. And I wish you all the best in marriage and many happy years together. Can I ask everyone to raise their glasses to the newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Meskel?
Sound formidable. Just want to say a few words to say how great they are. And I like anecdotes. J'aime les anecdotes. We just had a baby. We just had Raphaël at the time. Complicated life. Not easy the first few weeks. C'était pas facile. Ma fille de 3 semaines a été vraiment difficile. Ça se passait mal et je devais partir en Bulgarie. I had to go to Bulgaria. And that's the moment where you recognize your friends. All the friends we had at the time, they kind of flew. It's complicated, child, screaming, not sleeping, not nice parents. Les amis partaient. Et moi, je pars en Bulgarie, j'étais un peu inquiet. J'atterris à Sofia, Elisabeth m'appelle, elle dit « You know what? Who came for dinner? » Avec un grand plat d'hachis parmentier, potatoes with mincemeat, it was Connor and Magena. They had no kids. They didn't know that it was like to have a kid, screaming, not sleeping, but they were there. Ils sont venus avec à manger, de l'amitié, de l'amour, de la bonne humeur, et ça, c'était ce dont on avait besoin. Merci à eux. Et maintenant, Magena, c'est à toi.
So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. Ok, bienvenue tout le monde. Je vais commencer mon discours en français car c'est la langue qui est parlée pour mes parents, mon frère, ma sœur et ma famille. Je vais essayer de traduire au fur et à mesure mon discours. Je vais essayer de faire assez rapide pour que tout le monde puisse avoir un dessert. Et cette fois-ci, essayez de vous armer de patience, prenez à boire. Et surtout, si pour une fois je parle trop longtemps, c'est seulement parce que je traduis au lieu que le fait que je parle trop vite. So I just wanted to say, I started my speech in French because it's the language of all my family as well, and for my mom, my brother, my sister, as well as my dad and wider family. And I'll try and translate on the go. I'll make it quick in those ways because dessert's waiting, and most importantly, the awesome band. And I've hopefully made sure that there's enough drink on everyone's table to make it through these last two speeches. But hopefully for once, if I speak too long, it's not because I speak too much, but because I'm speaking two languages. A lot of people sometimes think in some countries that by doing a speech is not the most conventional occasion, but as most of you will know, I never miss an occasion to speak, so I thought I'd make the most of it this time. Je disais juste que s'il y a toujours une occasion de pouvoir parler en public, je suis toujours là. Donc au moins, pour une fois, j'ai dit que j'allais prendre l'occasion, même si les mariés ne sont pas toujours celles à faire les discours en mariage. The past couple of weeks, actually, a lot of people ask you in a run-up of a wedding, you know, are you getting really nervous? And is there anything you're worried about? And I was kind of thinking, well, not really. You know, we have an amazing wedding planning team and an amazing team here at the village in Castelnau. And I was thinking, we've got great food, we've got great drinks. And then I was thinking, but maybe I'll trip while I walk in the church, or I'll say something really stupid. And then everyone was saying, but are you nervous about marrying Connor? And I was like, oh no, we've tested this for 10 years. I think by now we should be good. So hopefully, I won't say anything too bad, and then I'll mainly do thanks during my speech. There's one thing for sure, is that I never doubted that marrying Connor was the best thing. The last 10 years have obviously been amazing, and I know that it's the man I'm going to grow old with. And as we've tested it, as I said, over the last 10 years, we've now renovated a house together, and we're late, obviously, in the room. Otherwise, you know, we probably wouldn't be here today. But I thought if we've made it through this, we'll also be able to make it through the rest of our lives. Je disais que... Pendant la préparation du mariage, il y a beaucoup de gens qui demandent si on est nerveux, si on devient assez stressé. J'ai eu beaucoup de chance d'avoir une équipe magnifique ici au village pour nous aider à préparer le mariage. On avait à manger, à boire. Et en fait, si j'avais aucun doute, c'est surtout que de marier Connor serait la personne avec qui je passerai le reste de ma vie. Et étant donné qu'on a réservé une maison ensemble avec Late, qui est dans la pièce, sinon je pense qu'on serait peut-être pas ici aujourd'hui, mais j'ai jamais eu aucun doute que Connor serait l'homme de ma vie. J'aimerais surtout aussi remercier non seulement l'équipe ici et tous les gens qui sont venus et qui ont voyagé de partout, de France, d'Espagne, du Canada, de Belgique, de Norvège. I wanted to say thanks for everyone who's traveled here today from all the different places, from Canada, obviously Miriam, Joe and Eve, from Spain, Paul and Matteo, Norway, Sasha, obviously Belgium and Ireland and UK. So hopefully I've covered all the countries. Oh my God, my brother in Italy and Luxembourg. Damn it. We have over 50 nationalities in this room, so I think I was bound to miss some. So that was going to happen. Je disais, il y avait à peu près 15 nationalités, il fallait que j'en oublie une, c'était mon frère, je suis désolée. Pas de bol. Sorry, I'll get back. So I'm back on the speech. Which language am I on? There we go. I really wanted to first and foremost, thank Martin Deck, and all the Mesken clan and family for made me feel so welcome 10 years ago. I think it's never easy when they only son, your son, Marty, your son, in case everyone has any doubt, when he brings home, you know, this foreign girl who's just very different, and he's leaving so far away. And I've never ceased to be amazed at how unlimited and unwavering the support and love that you provide to Connor on a daily basis. And in so many ways, and I think the man I fell in love with 10 years ago is the way he is because of the values you have taught him, the independence that you have brought to him, and hopefully his stubbornness and quiet determination as well. I really have been welcomed like a daughter, indeed, and I have felt part of the family for a long time. But I'm glad to say that as of today, I'm now an official mezcal blow-in, which is a big deal, people. And for this, I feel very grateful. So thank you so much to all the mezcal in Martindale. Donc j'ai pris l'occasion de remercier les parents de Connor pour l'accueil qu'ils m'ont fait il y a 10 ans quand j'ai rencontré Connor. C'est difficile pour des parents irlandais de pouvoir donner leur fils unique à une étrangère qui débarque et qui habite en Belgique. Donc c'est pas toujours facile. Et donc je les ai remerciés de m'avoir accueilli dans leur famille. I also wanted to thank my parents and my family. I've been truly blessed to have been brought up in a bilingual, loving, and let's be honest, sometimes pretty fantastically chaotic and fiercely independent family. There's no way I would be here today having achieved what I have so far without them. C'est incroyable en fait la chance que j'ai d'avoir la famille que j'ai, d'avoir été dans une famille, élevée dans une famille bilingue, qui m'a permis d'avoir une horizon complètement différente sur la vie, qui m'a donné mes notions d'indépendance et très chaotique à des moments, mais toujours dans un amour très complet. Et je ne serais pas où je suis aujourd'hui sans ma famille qui est ici. My parents mean the world to me. My parents mean the world to me. My parents, my brother and my sister live in very different countries. And however far we are very tightly knit and we have a very special bond. And I'm very proud to be a Ramboski, and as of today also a mezcal. Better get that right. And I really want to aim to make everyone proud on this. My brother and my sister have often reminded me that I'm a bit of a daddy's girl, and in that way, I'm truly blessed to have the best father and someone who has helped me all the way to be the person I am, and for that, I just want to thank him so much. Si je parle de famille, évidemment, je parle aussi évidemment de ma mère, mon frère et ma sœur. J'ai la chance incroyable d'avoir une mère qui est fantastique, quelqu'un qui m'a tout appris au niveau de mon indépendance et sans qui je ne serais pas ici aujourd'hui. Je suis incroyablement fière de ma mère qui m'a tout appris et sans qui je ne serais pas la femme que je suis aujourd'hui. I want to say I'm so proud of how incredibly proud I am of my mother who has taught me, as Connor obviously knows by now, very strong notions of independence and equality for women, and with who I wouldn't be here today, so I just really wanted to send her all my love. In some funny twists of life, I've actually had the incredible pleasure of having an extended family. And please look with Christophe, my stepfather, who is just simply the best stepfather anyone could wish for. He has been a part of my life for so long, and thanks to him, I just basically pass math and know how to just do 2 by 2. I'm also very glad to have Sophie here today, who welcomed the 3 of us, my brother and my sister, in her life over 10 years ago, who's had tough battle in recent years, and who came out of it stronger. Je voulais remercier tout particulièrement. J'ai la chance d'avoir une famille étendue, et je voulais remercier tout particulièrement Christophe, le meilleur beau-père qu'on puisse avoir dans sa vie, et je sais combien j'ai beaucoup de chance d'avoir quelqu'un comme lui. qui est simplement le meilleur beau-père que n'importe quelle belle-fille peut avoir, grâce à qui j'ai eu mon bac en maths, merci Christophe, et que maintenant je sais plus ou moins calculer 2 plus 2, et qui est une partie incroyable de ma vie aussi tous les jours. Et j'ai aussi beaucoup de chance d'avoir Sophie aussi dans notre vie, avec aussi Marek et Barbara, et qui a eu des batailles difficiles dernières années et qui est en sortie beaucoup plus forte. Obviously, couldn't talk about my family without speaking about my brother and my sister. So obviously this speech could go on forever, and I'm very conscious desserts outside and probably smelly cheeses, so forgive us for that, French cheeses. My brother and my sister mean the world to me, and Connor has been incredibly supportive by accepting this chaotic family. And we might be far from each other and living in 3 different countries, but there's no way that I don't think about you every day. And I just thank my lucky stars for having you in my life. And when Connor met me, he really quickly realized that there's very few people I would actually drop everything for and jump to the end of the world for, and it would just be for the both of you. As our friends and family know, no one touches the Rambos, which is what we were called when we were kids. And as my sister would say, you could only do it over a dead body. Bab, you're an inspiration. Your appetite for life and your boundless energy is simply incredible. I'm so proud of you and what you are today, and for that, I love you so much. Marek, my brother, is just unbelievable. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and just for that, I would go anywhere in the world for him, and I'm very lucky to have them both here today. So before I go on talking about my new husband, I'm just saying it's first time I've said it despite the civil wedding today. I just want to say a few more words about how it's really incredible to have all of you here today. Connor, when he first told me where he wanted to get married, he told me he wanted a barn in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't realize we'd take it so literally. So I really wanted to thank all of you for having come so far and come here this weekend, despite the kind of amazing weather we had promised. So thanks so much, everyone, for coming. In particular, I actually wanted to do a special toast for all the women here today. Many of you know how strongly I believe in equality and in women's rights. I didn't need to dream about having superheroes as women as growing up, as many women must have today, because I've had so many examples in friends and family. In particular, I wanted to thank my 3 bridesmaids, Angela, Barbara, and Camille, who are all so unique, crazy at times, and all impressive women who have all shown me how we can all lead the way and face life. So I just wanted to toast to incredible women and my amazing bridesmaids. Connor, the last 10 years of our lives have just been incredible. It's unbelievable to think of where we are today. We've had so many adventures, so many challenges, and I feel we've been together, that we met yesterday and we've been together forever. I have found in you my partner in life, the A-team that we've always wanted to be, and someone who has supported me no matter what and let me be who I am. And I now realize I couldn't be who I am without you. I can promise you to always be by your side, be it to work out how to sort out plumbing at 2 a.m. without having a clue what we're doing in this new house of ours, or trekking through countries all over the world. I have so many stories. I mean, I've had 10 years of them. But for once, I'm going to try and keep it short and say to you that I will go anywhere in the world to follow you and do anything. And for now, I'll leave you the floor. Thank you so much.
All right, so here we are. Well, so I'm the last one tonight. This is going to be a hard act to follow. I've had 4 amazing speeches come before me. And I can tell you one thing. I've thought a lot over the last number of weeks about this evening, about this day. I've thought a lot about what it's going to be like to walk into a room like this, have all your friends and family here looking at you and just being like, yes, you know? Just be like, and looking around and seeing everybody so happy. And I've thought I've really thought long and hard about it, and I can tell you what, it's even way better than I could have imagined. Seeing all those smiling faces, seeing everybody waving. I think usually a groom starts his speech by welcoming people that have traveled from distances long and far to be with us. But in fact, today, I have to thank all of you because we've all traveled long and far to be here. So I think my extension goes to all of you. As Maz said in her speech, we chose a pretty remote location. We're very pleased with it, and we're extremely pleased to have you all here to celebrate with us. And we really thank you for all the expense and day and time that you've taken to come here and celebrate. This has been all we could have imagined as a day, and you guys have made it so much more special for being here. So thank you for all your efforts. So this is the Gers region of France. This region is pretty famous in France for its hearty food, its good wine, its good joie de vivre, and usually the good weather. And I can tell you that I hope you all had a lovely meal here today. The wine is flowing, I see, and I actually wanted to say a special word to thank. To thank Nick, Donna, Annalie, and all the staff here at Castelnau. Because you guys have made this absolutely a dream from start to finish. It has been no hassle at all. As Maz said, this has been a pure pleasure, and you guys have made it so. So thank you very much. And I'm also saying thank you in advance before the party tonight. As Maz said already in her speech, the two of us were about equality. Equality in the couple. And I'm not here tonight to repeat everything that Maz has already said. But one thing that I would like to do is I would like to reiterate some of the thanks to certain people that have traveled very long distances to be here today to join us in this special ceremony. Everybody here from Ireland, the Irish crew, yeah! Guys, I've been away for about 10 years now. It's amazing to believe, but it's been 10 years since I've been in Belgium. You guys and everybody here from Ireland and all of our friends, our neighbours that are here with us, every time I go back, you make me feel so welcome. It's as if nothing has ever changed, really. You know, it's as if we saw each other last week. We just kick off where we started again, and to me, that's extremely special. So I really want to thank everybody from Ireland that has travelled here today to celebrate with us, and let's have a good party tonight. I think we're going to have a good party, and I think you guys are going to be at the forefront of it. To our friends and family from the UK as well, thank you also for being here. Again, travelled long and far, and we really appreciate it. It's really, really a pleasure to see you here today. Allez, à tous mes amis françaises qui êtes venus ici, vous êtes voyagés en voiture, en train, en avion, et vous êtes tous là. Et ça nous fait tellement, tellement plaisir. Ça fait plus que 10 ans que Magène et moi sommes ensemble. Et pendant ce temps-là, on a passé tellement de temps incroyable en France. J'ai tellement de mémoires que j'ai passées en France. I was just saying to all my French, to all the French people here today, I've had so many amazing times in France. For the last 10 years, France has been my third home, and it's been a huge privilege. We've had so many amazing times. Par exemple, j'ai dit quand l'Irlande a gagné contre la France dans la Stade de France en 2012. en 2014 et bien sûr en 2018 aussi. C'était tellement bon. I was saying some of the great memories that I have certainly in France is when Ireland beat France in the Stade de France in 2012, 2014 and 2018 in the rugby. Whoa, that divided the room. Non, mais sérieusement, je voulais vraiment vous remercier pour votre accueil tellement généreux. Je me sens tellement à l'aise avec tous et je vous remercie beaucoup de supporter mon français qui est... Ben, allez, et moi... Ah oui, ça améliorait, merci. Et mon accent aussi, c'est pas le meilleur. Non, mais franchement, c'est vraiment un grand privilège d'appeler la France mon troisième pays. Et pour ça, je vous remercie tout. I was just saying it's a huge privilege to be able to call France my third home, and I'm very, very pleased I'm very pleased for that. My third home. Speaking of home away from home, it was about 10 years ago that I actually moved to Brussels, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to take over the world. But very soon after I arrived, I met somebody that actually changed my world. And this lady is here with me today. It actually all started, as my dad made reference to a little bit earlier. There was a few pals that were actually going to Paris for a weekend. There was a rugby match on. It was the beginning of the Six Nations. France were playing Wales in the Stade de France, and it was a Friday night kickoff. They do these Friday night matches, France-Wales, for some reason. And the idea was that we rented a car. A group of us got together, we rented a car, and we were to drive down to the Stade de France to see, excuse me, to see the match on the Friday evening. So we took off after work on the Friday evening. Yeah, thanks. Maz was given the duty to drive, and for some reason, the guy that was only in Brussels about 2 weeks was given the duty to navigate. So this was back in the day. I mean, we're going back 10 years now. This is before smartphones, before Google Maps. So I was in charge of this, and we had this dodgy little GPS that a friend here gave us I'd never used before. And basically, Friday evening in Brussels, heavy traffic, we did about 3 laps around the ring in Brussels, and it kept saying to us, "Vous êtes arrivé." And I was going, we haven't arrived, and this wasn't going down well. I was trying to make a good impression on people here, you know, and I didn't start too well. So anyway, we finally found a sign that said Paris, and we started on the way. Now, Maz was determined that there was no way we were missing the start of this match. We were going to get there. And if I'm honest, there wasn't a chance in hell we were going to get there, looking at the time and looking at the traffic in front of us. But anyway, she was cruising at a steady 160 down the motorway. I was in the passenger seat. We made a pact. Any fines we get, we'd share it. There was 5 of us in the car, but we were going to make that match. So basically, to break the tension, Maz started to teach us the French national anthem, so that we were ready to go. So, allons enfants de la patrie, et le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, laisse ton âme sanglante élevée, laisse ton âme sanglante élevée, encore que nous. Vivaient jusque dans nos bras, évoquer nos fils et nos compagnes, aux âmes citoyens. So as the time started ticking along and we were having the practice in the car, things were starting to look a little bit better. The 160, we were going faster, we were nearly there. We arrived in Saint-Denis, just outside the Stade de France. We ditched the car and we started running. And basically, we sat in our seats just as the two teams were coming out onto the pitch. We made it. Just as the anthems were about to start. But then, sure, at that point, all of the teachings that we had learned, in all the panic and everything, just went out the window, and it was na 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 na. Anyway, the most important thing is that France won the match. But something a little bit even more important than that happened that night, and that was I met somebody that changed my world. There's a saying that they say, and that is, we will always have Paris. But without Paris, we may never have had each other. So we have a lot to thank Paris for. And from that day forward, Belgium became our home together. And through that, we have had the chance to make many, many wonderful friends from all over Europe. Maz touched on it already, and we're delighted to see so many of you here today. 15 different nationalities, people that have traveled long and far, and I thank you all for your hospitality, your friendship, and your welcome. I would just like to give a very special shout out, as was mentioned already, to my auntie and uncle Miriam and Joe, who have traveled all the way from Toronto here today. And to my cousin Niamh. And to my cousin Niamh, who travelled with them as well. So thank you for coming. And in doing that, I want to also send my very special congratulations to them for having recently become grandparents to baby Shay. And I'd ask you to please send our very best regards to Rory and Angela on our behalf. I'd also like to congratulate my Auntie Phil, who's here in the room, for also becoming a grandmother recently, and to my cousin Deirdre for becoming an auntie. As we said, it's baby time in our family at the moment. Have I something to tell us? He's saying, no, there's nothing to tell. But I would ask you to please send our very best regards, Phil, to Aoife and Barry, and to little baby Phoebe, who we saw the picture today. She was dressed up for the special occasion, even though she couldn't be here. As I said, baby season at the moment. Stuart, yourself and Claire are also expecting a baby in the coming weeks, and we wish you the very best of luck with that. So we're both very excited for you. So you're probably wondering how I'm going to transition from this baby moment into the rest of the speech where you get off the fact that... So I'm going to do that very gradually. Today, as I said, it's a special moment. It's not only an opportunity to have married the most amazing woman in the world, but I've also had the opportunity to join a new family. And a very, very wonderful family at that, the Rembosky family. And I would like to thank you all in the family for such a very warm welcome. In doing so, I've also, and this only occurred to me, in fact, the other day, in doing so, I've also gained a new sister-in-law and a new brother-in-law. So I would like to thank you both for your very, very generous welcome into the family, your generosity, and for all your time and all your help in preparing today. So thank you. Maz's dad, Jan, Sophie, I would also like to thank both of you for your extremely generous welcome to me over the years. You have been extremely welcoming. And in fact, as Jan mentioned already, they are lucky enough to actually live in the Champagne region of France. So that was a good one. However, with great power comes great responsibility. That responsibility is to find the best champagne producer in the region. And I can honestly say that he's done that. And since the last few years, I know that exports to Belgium, Ireland, and the UK have been way on the rise. So thank you. If I may, if you'll just let me, one of my very first memories, in fact, of Jan was when he asked me to help him lay some carpet in a house that he owned in Paris. Now, this was a totally new experience for me to put down carpet. And I remember at the end of it feeling extremely proud of what we had achieved. You know, I was going to Maz, I was saying, yes, I feel really manly now, you know. Until I actually realized that this sort of stuff is standard practice in the Rimboski household, you know. It's in their blood. This sort of thing is in their blood. And, but I can say actually that some of this knowledge has actually started to rub off on me in recent times and in recent years. And I'm happy, in fact, to announce today that since then, we are now the proud owners of, in fact, a screwdriver, a hammer, a measuring tape, and even an electric drill. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But in all seriousness, though, I really would like to thank you both for your very kind generosity, your warm welcome, and your continued love over all of these years. I would also like to say a special and sincere thank you to both Bernadette and Christophe. Je vous remercie beaucoup tous les deux. We first met at that famous rugby match, in fact, 10 years ago. And since then, rugby has remained a constant thread through our relationship. Excuse me. We've been to Six Nations games together. We've been to World Cup matches together in Cardiff. And we have even been to the Stade Toulousain here, not far, for lunch one afternoon in the Stade, in the presence of the Heineken Cup trophy. So that was amazing. J'ai dit, je vous remercie tous les deux. Le rugby, nous avons rencontré entre le rugby, et ça a été un grand partie de notre vie ensemble. Nous avons fait des matchs de tournoi destination ensemble, le Coupe du Monde. Même on a mangé ici, pas loin d'ici, à Stade Toulousain, dans le restaurant là. Et même qu'on ne parle pas la même langue, on se comprend. Oui? Je peux dire ça? Oui? Et pour moi, ça c'est très très important. C'est très important. Et je vous remercie tous les deux pour votre patience avec mon français et aussi pour votre générosité et willingness de m'aider pendant les années. Je vous aime tous les deux. I was just saying that even though we don't speak the same language, we get each other. And that really means a lot to me. I really wanted to thank them both for their patience with my French over the years, trying to learn and my French accent, but I would really like, in particular, to thank them for their generosity and their willingness to help us over all of these years. If I may, if I could just ask everybody if they wouldn't mind getting on their feet and proposing a toast to all and everybody in the Rimboski family that have been so kind and welcoming us all. Thank you. So to the Rimboski family. Cheers. To the Rembos. Cheers, all. Cheers, you. Oh, really? Yeah. So, there'll be a few more. Yeah. So, in addition to that, I'd like to say a very special thank you on behalf of Magena and myself to the three beautiful bridesmaids here today. Yeah! The three of you look beautiful, and I think everybody will agree with me in that. Sincerely, I would like to thank the three of you for your very, very strong and continued friendship to Magena over these years, your strong support to her, and in doing so also, the strong support that you have in turn given to me. You guys are proper inspiration to her, and I really, on my behalf, I really appreciate everything that you do for her. Angela. Camille, Babs, as I said, all of you are in your own way. You've made her the strong, determined woman that she is today. Angela, I sometimes think that Maz actually talks to you more than she talks to me. You've been a real rock to Maz over the years with your advice, your friendship, the laughs and the crack. And I would really like to say how pleased and grateful and I am that you are here with us today. And I really want to thank you. Camille, you've known Maz longer than anybody else in this room. Wow. Family excluded, of course. Whoa, I got out of that one. And even though the fact that we don't live in the same city, I really like the fact that we see each other very often. We see yourself, we see Matthew, we see your 3 wonderful kids on a very regular basis. And it really means a huge amount to me that you have welcomed me so much into your family. I really consider you, both of you, very, very strong friends of mine. And I want to thank you sincerely for all your love and the laughs that we've had over the time. Babs, you're Maz's big sister. I know how much she looks up to you. And I know how much she respects you as well and how much fun you guys have together. You and your family have been really great to me over these years. You've been extremely supportive, thoughtful, and I really, again, I really want to thank you all for your kindness and your welcome into the family. So, if I can, I would just like to say a special thank you to the 3 bridesmaids for the profound impact that you have had on Maz, and in turn that you have had on me. So, thank you. So that brings me to my groomsmen, Matthew, John, and my best man Simon. You guys have been by my side all the way. We've known each other a very long time, and we've had a lot of laughs together. But you guys have always looked out for me. As I said at the beginning, we don't see each other all the time, you know, but I know that you guys are always there for me, and that means the world. You're 3 very, very solid lads with very, very solid heads on your shoulders, and I really consider it a privilege. I consider it a privilege to have the 3 of you as my closest friends. In fact, as Matthew mentioned in one of his speeches earlier along, he's in fact one of the first people I ever met when I came to Brussels. As we said, we met in work. We met over a picture of Connemara. And he's in fact the person that got me out to play Gaelic football. And I think this has to be a record because I don't think any other Frenchman in the world has ever recruited an Irishman out to play Gaelic football. So I think that's a world record, to be honest. So and through that, I have had that's been a huge part of my time when I've been in Brussels. So I thank you for that. I also want to thank you for being such a wonderful MC today. You've brought the party. I know it's not easy to try and rally the troops and to introduce everybody, but I can really tell you that I was extremely impressed, and it was so great to hear those stories here today. And I want to thank you for being such a great MC, but for being an even better friend. So. John, we go back a good way. we go back to when we were little scuts playing on the green down in College Grove. And we had some crack in those days. We really enjoyed it. And as I said earlier, I'm really proud and honored and privileged to consider you to be one of my closest friends. John, in fact, and his lovely wife Emma, they're expecting a baby in the coming weeks. Emma couldn't be here with us today because she's really, I think, very close. And they're expecting their very first baby, and I really want to wish you all the best with that. It's always good. The McCarthys are an exceptional family, and it's always good when we get another McCarthy in this world. So I wish you every success with that. Finally, Simon. Well, what can I say about Simon? I'd like to thank him I'd like to start by thanking him for giving the PC version of the speech. I was getting a bit worried. I was thinking, but no. I really I want to thank you for and congratulate you on the speech. It was good fun, and I know you put a huge amount of effort into it. So thank you very much, and I think everybody here enjoyed it today. Saying that, however, Simon can be a man generally of few words, actually. Sometimes he doesn't say much, but he has an extremely infectious laugh. When Simon laughs, you know about it. And we have had some laughs over the years together. And again, I think back to those French classes that we did with Mr. Coulihan in Castleknock. We had some crack together. And then we were out in the rugby pitch together. We were having fun there. And we were slagging each other, but we were always looking out for each other. And I always considered really Simon to be a bit of an older brother to me in some ways, because I've always looked up to him, and you've always looked out for me, you know. If there was somebody because I didn't have an older brother, but if there was somebody that I could look up to, or if I ever had an issue, I'd always turn to you, Simon. You're the, I think I'm not going to dwell on it, but all I can say is you're the best man I could have asked for, and you're the best man I could have asked for. So I really want to thank you for that. Simon and Emer are also I said this was a baby speech. Simon and Emer are also expecting a baby in the coming weeks and months. Emer, I thank you for being here, and I wish you both all the very best of wishes. It's your first child, and I think you're going to be fantastic parents. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you, and I wish you all the very best for the coming weeks, months, and years to come. There are a few people here today that aren't actually with us in person, but I know they're here looking down on us, and I know that they're celebrating with us as well. My granny and granddad, for example, who I miss very much, and my uncle and my godfather, Kieran Meskel, who passed away just over 2.5 years ago, who can't be here with us. I know that you're all looking down on us. You're sharing this special day with us, and I just want to say how much I love you all, and how grateful I am that you're here in spirit with us today. Before I finish up, there's two more extremely special people that I want to thank, and that's my mum and dad, Marty and Declan. You've seen it here today already in the testaments that have been given to both of you. You're extremely special people. You've been extremely good to me over the years. You're the best parents I could have ever asked for. You've never had me wanting for anything. You've given me every advantage that I could have imagined. You're the one that I blame for all the traveling. You know, you gave me the traveling bug. So it's your fault, I think, that I got this bug. You had me. You had me traveling all over the world from a very early age, even over to Canada, I believe, before I even had a passport photo or something, and my dad was holding me up to the customs, going, "Yeah, it's my son." It makes me hugely happy to see how happy that you are here today, celebrating, and that makes me extremely happy. All these years, all these times, you've always put my needs ahead of your own, always. I always knew that if I ever needed to ask anything of you, you would drop everything and you would do it for me. And this is continued to the present day. I'm a man, I'm a grown man, a professional, a married man now. But I'll always have my mum and dad, and I know that you'll always, always have my back and drop anything that needs to be done. I promise that I'll try not to kind of have these last minute things of, I really need my birth cert. I can't get married without it. I need it by Monday. I hope these... I know, it was lunchtime. I hope there'll be fewer of those, but I know that I can always count on you. And I'd like to thank you for the welcome that you've given to Maz into our family from day one. You've always treated her like a daughter. That's made it so much easier for me as well. It's made it even more special. We've had super times over the years, and today is another day that will go down as one of those great memories that we've had as a family. I just want to say I love you guys, and I thank you for all your support over these years. So that brings me finally to the most important person here in the room today, Marzena. What can I say? It's been 10 years that we've been together, and from day one, we have just clicked. It really worked. What I can say is, and I think it was my dad that put it very well earlier, you bring out the best in me. Without you, I'm not really the man that I am. You push me to be better. You push me to try and be more of myself. And in that way, it drives me to be more for you. Because I want to be better for you, because I know how good that you can be and how loving that you can be, and in particular how driven that you can be. It just fascinates me on a daily basis. You see, I'm very lucky. There's a lot of people in the room here that know how amazing Maz is, but I'm very lucky to experience it on a daily basis. And I can tell you one thing, that you never cease to amaze me on a daily basis, when just the drive, determination, get up and go. There's sometimes now I have to admit I could do it I'd be thinking I'll have a lie in. But I know that I know that when we put our heads together, we can do this. As you said, we're an A team. We basically built a house together a few years ago. We're still here, and now we have a beautiful home. If I can maybe just yeah, I just like to finish off, Maz, by really saying I love you with all my heart. We're gonna have a fantastic life together. We've had a fantastic life together up until now. You bring out the best in me. I try and bring out the best in you. And what I can say is, this has been a fantastic day. This has been everything that I've dreamed of, and I hope it has been for you. I love you with all my heart. I know we're going to have a great night tonight. Thank you to everybody for being here. And if I may, I would like to ask everybody to be upstanding and raise a glass to the beautiful bride. Marzena. Cheers.